Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We have some very big news that's going on with Ripple. We're talking about the XRP ledger here and with Dubai, and I'll be talking about that in just a moment. But let's go ahead and start off by taking a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. So first off, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is now at 12. It's at the extreme fear territory. We've been sitting right around 8 to 12 here, I'd say for about a week or so. So yes, it is still very, very bad. The war is still going on between the United States and Iran. There's talks about them possibly ending it, and then lo and behold, it continues on. So I think at this point, not too many people are really surprised about that. A lot of the eyes are on what's going on with the SpaceX launch of their stock. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin's price. We're sitting just under $64,000. And with this, I don't know how much volume activity we're going to be seeing because, as I just mentioned a moment ago, a lot of the eyes are going on with SpaceX. If you guys haven't been watching anything with that on Twitter, the volume of activity is absolutely insane. It's eclipsing all other stocks by far in a very short amount of time. There's a lot of volatility that's there. I would just say be very careful if you guys decide that you want to get involved with that stock. I recommend that you look into the background behind it a little bit and how the ownership of it before the launch is actually being held right now. But let's go ahead and just see what's going on with Bitcoin a little bit more. So we got Bitcoin sitting at $64,000 approximately, with a high on the day at about $64,300, a low right around $62,700. And it is green. We did close out green yesterday. We'll be talking more about XRP's price movement later on in the video. But what is very nice here is we've essentially started to see the formation of what looks like possibly an inverse head and shoulders pattern. So we are seeing this downwards trend. We had 3, 6, 7 days in a row of red candles, came up just a tad bit, pulled down, started to come up once again. If this sort of lingers right around here, dropping possibly underneath this again, there's a fairly decent chance that we see it starting to go parabolic on a launch upwards, that trajectory. But the volume for the day, it is on track, I would say, to being more than what we had yesterday for June 11th. But as it is right now, it's pretty quiet. We might start to see people taking profits or selling out in the SpaceX. And then if they move those funds over to, say, Bitcoin, we could start to see a rally with crypto itself. It might be a pump and dump type situation, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't want to just go ahead and label it that it's going to be such as that. I just say be very, very careful with that specific stock, especially right now. And as we take a look here, we also see that we have a level of support at $59,000. Yes, we got to keep an eye on $60,000 first. That Fibonacci retracement zone sitting at $63,200. And if this does manage to make a run up, you really want to keep an eye on that median line for the Bollinger Band. That is sitting just under $69,000. And we also know how people love memes. So if this started to do some major rally, I wouldn't be surprised. Even at 70K, which is a psychological level, and the Bollinger Bands themselves are still quite wide. Let's go ahead and move on to additional news. So up next, we have this bit. The launch of the stock market, generally speaking, $460 billion wiped out a U.S. stock market in just 5 minutes after President Trump says Iran's leaked deal terms are fake. Yeah. And then, guess what? Huge rebound. $710 billion has been added to U.S. stocks in just the last 1.5 hours. And here we go. Look at this. A $1.04 million unit in Dubai's Akon City has been tokenized on the XRP ledger, and it is noted by Neutral View Lab. This is real progress. Tokenizing a 1 million plus Dubai apartment on XRPL actually makes high value real estate more accessible and tradable. Smart move by Dubai, and I agree. So curious to see if there's going to be more real estate anytime soon. But the fact that this has already started, and for such a significant amount of money, really goes to show that there might be some big opportunities moving forward in Dubai and with the XRP ledger. And also up next, XRP sentiment hits its lowest level since October 2025. Historically, a signal seen before major rebounds. So I want to stress this to you guys again. The XRP sentiment at its lowest level, but then also a 1.04 million unit in Dubai's Akin City 3 tokenized on the XRP ledger. So somebody is keeping an eye on this, and there's some big plays happening right there, especially if price movement starts to swing rapidly here soon. And up next, big charts are now live on X or Twitter for XRP. So you guys can actually see as I move around, you can actually see that real price movement right there. Boom. Absolutely awesome. And up next, XRPL only generated $400 in fees yesterday. You're right. And that's exactly why institutions are choosing it. $2.25 billion in tokenized real-world assets don't settle on chains where gas costs more than the transaction. Fees aren't revenue on XRPL, they're a spam filter. Every single one gets burned. And Remix Point goes all in. Tokyo-listed firm projects up to 12.4 billion yen in digital asset revenue for the 2027 with 1,191,204 XRP held on its balance sheet. Japanese corporates aren't waiting for permission anymore. There is a crypto exchange called BTCC. If you guys have not heard of this, where have you been? It has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage. There's no VPN or KYC required to get started. And on top of that, there is a 10% deposit bonus. This goes all the way up to $10,055 per user and extra bonuses there. And that's if you end up doing your first deposit. That 10% right there is over $500 USDT in deposit. Okay, up next. The speed of XRP's growth will shock everyone. Years ago, Ripple ran a pilot for XRP-based payment across the US to Mexico corridor. The pilot succeeded. Every participant saw positive results, and one detail stood out above everything else. Mexican banks asked Ripple to slow down the payments. XRP was processing transactions faster than the banks could handle on their end. So think about that. XRP settles a standard bank transaction before the bank itself can finish processing it. That was one corridor. Ripple has payment corridors mapped across the globe. When XRP is activated across all of them, the volume and velocity of settlements will be unlike anything the banking system has ever operated at before. The same way Mexican banks were introduced to a new standard of speed in that pilot, financial institutions worldwide will experience that same upgrade at scale. Processing speeds they have never had access to, settlement windows that free up capital faster, efficiency the current system has been waiting for. XRP will sit at the center of that upgrade, moving faster than anyone can comprehend. And from CoinDesk, Binance's XRP reserves have fallen to 4-month lows at 2.69 billion, with roughly 110 million XRP withdrawn since May, reducing exchange supply and potential selling pressure. XRP FUD hits 8-month high, bull signals flashes, and XRP sentiment has fallen to its lowest level since October 2025, according to Sentiment. The analytics firm noted that some of XRP's strongest rallies historically emerged when trader sentiment turned overwhelmingly negative. Development and institutional activity continues despite fading social enthusiasm. XRP ranks second behind Bitcoin and Bitso user portfolios and Ethereum in third place. Fortune ranks XRP Ledger top 6 among the world's most influential blockchains alongside Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Mainstream finance is not ignoring XRP anymore. It can't. And the first XRP transaction completed via the X402 for agentic AI. That's a big step forward. XRP bulls eye $3.11 target after TD sequential triggers on 3-day time frame. And this one's interesting. We got one post from Unknown DLT who goes on to say, I don't care what you think. I know exactly what's coming. I'm just giving you a brief overview of what's going to happen with XRP. I don't usually post documents, but with a quick search, you can confirm what I'm saying. XRP will capture the largest market share, DTCC settlement and cross-border payments. Yes, there will be other digital assets, but XRP will capture the vast majority. The Fed knows it, SWIFT knows it, the DTCC knows it, everyone knows it. The price will skyrocket when they migrate the current ledger to DLT. It's going to be spectacular to witness this from the inside. This is the best moment of your life. DLT is here to change your life if you're smart and patient. It's not hype, it's reality. R3 Corda and XRP, the end game. Everyone's still trying to onboard humans to crypto. MetaMask, MasterCard, and Ripple just quietly started building for a different customer, AI agents. Agents paying for APIs, compute, and data need 3-second settlement and fees that never spike. That's not Ethereum. That's literally the XRPL spec sheet machine, the economy, SZ, and loading. And just a very quick look here, what's going on with XRP's price movement. It's essentially following what's going on with Bitcoin, but we do have a little bit of a deviation here. On the day, we do have green for Bitcoin, but for XRP, it's seen itself a little bit in the red. And volume itself is already past that of yesterday for XRP. It's sitting at $1.13. We're still looking at a level of support at around $1.05. And if it needs to climb, or sorry, if it wants to climb, then we would be looking at a level it needs to get above at $1.24. That's meeting in the Bollinger Band, and then needing to go up to $1.40 to break the Fibonacci zone. That's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, my YouTube members. God bless. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.